Stop wasting your money. If you're over 55 and you've been quietly worried about performance, circulation, or that frustrating drop in confidence, I need you to hear this. Most men your age are spending hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars on pills, powders, devices, and treatments they don't even fully understand. And the worst part? They're ignoring something that takes less than 30 seconds, costs nothing, and works the very first time you do it. Yes, the first time. And 99% of men overlook it because it feels too simple. They think if it doesn't come in a prescription bottle or a flashy ad promising overnight transformation, it can't possibly be powerful. So they keep searching, they keep paying, they keep doubting themselves. Meanwhile, the real solution is already in their home. Now, before I tell you what it is, let me explain why this matters so much. After 55, blood flow begins to slow. Testosterone gradually declines. Nerve sensitivity changes. Your pelvic floor weakens without you realizing it. And what used to feel automatic starts to feel unpredictable. That unpredictability chips away at confidence. And confidence, for men, is everything. I'm Dr. Georgia Bennett. I've worked in men's health for over 10 years, and I can tell you something most clinics won't say out loud. The majority of performance struggles in men 55 to 75 are not permanent. They are not the end. They are usually the result of circulation and nerve activation being underused, not broken. There's a big difference. If you're watching this, I want you to comment below and tell me where you're watching from. I always love seeing how many men across the country are taking back control of their health. And before I reveal this 30-second activation trick, make sure you're subscribed, because on this channel, we focus on simple, science-backed strategies that actually make sense for men over 50. No hype, no gimmicks, just physiology explained clearly. All right, so what exactly is this, and why does it work? The 30-second trick I'm talking about is called the rapid pelvic activation breath. Now, I know that doesn't sound flashy. It doesn't sound like something you'd see in a commercial. And that's exactly why most men ignore it. But this is one of the most powerful things you can do because it targets the 3 core systems responsible for male performance after 55: blood flow, nerve signaling, and muscular support. Let's break this down in a way that actually makes sense. As men age, the most common issue is not desire, it's delivery. The brain may be ready, but the body is slower to respond. That lag is usually tied to circulation, specifically the ability of blood vessels in the pelvic region to expand quickly and hold blood efficiently. That expansion depends heavily on nitric oxide, a natural compound your body produces that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. Here's the problem. Nitric oxide production declines with age. Sedentary habits reduce it further. Shallow breathing limits oxygen exchange, and weak pelvic floor muscles reduce the ability to trap blood once it arrives. So you end up with less inflow and less retention. The rapid pelvic activation breath addresses both at the same time. First, the breathing component. When you breathe deeply into your diaphragm, meaning your lower belly expands instead of your chest rising, you trigger a powerful physiological shift. Oxygen saturation increases. Carbon dioxide levels regulate properly. The vagus nerve becomes stimulated, which lowers stress hormones like cortisol. Why does that matter? Because stress is one of the biggest constrictors of blood vessels. Even mild performance anxiety can tighten arteries and restrict flow. Deep diaphragmatic breathing relaxes those vessels. It increases nitric oxide release in the lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. That alone improves circulation. Now we add the second component, pelvic floor contraction. The pelvic floor is a hammock-like group of muscles that supports the bladder and bowel, but it also plays a major role in male rigidity and endurance. Think of it like a natural clamp. When blood flows into the area, the pelvic floor contracts to help trap it there. If that muscle is weak or uncoordinated, blood leaves as quickly as it arrives. That's when men describe feeling like they can't maintain. But here's what most men never realize. After 55, if you don't intentionally activate the pelvic floor, it gradually weakens, just like your legs would if you stopped walking. The rapid pelvic activation breath combines oxygenation with muscle contraction in a synchronized way that retrains both systems. Now, let me guide you through this step by step, slowly and clearly. First, your position. You can do this standing or seated. If seated, choose a firm chair. Avoid soft couches because you need stable alignment. Place your feet flat on the floor, shoulder-width apart. Sit upright. Imagine a string gently pulling the top of your head toward the ceiling. This keeps your spine neutral and your diaphragm unobstructed. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, let your hands rest lightly on your thighs, or place one hand on your lower abdomen so you can feel the breath movement. Now we begin. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 full seconds. As you inhale, focus on expanding your belly outward, not your chest. Your stomach should gently rise. If your chest is lifting more than your abdomen, you're breathing too shallowly. At the top of that inhale, when your lungs feel comfortably full, gently contract your pelvic floor. How do you find that muscle? Imagine you are trying to stop urine midstream. That lifting sensation internally, that's the muscle. Do not tighten your glutes, do not squeeze your thighs, do not hold your breath aggressively. This is a subtle internal lift. Once contracted, hold both the breath and the contraction for 5 seconds. During this hold, something important happens. The increased abdominal pressure combined with muscle engagement pushes blood into the pelvic region and temporarily restricts outflow. It creates a small but meaningful internal pressure change that stimulates the surrounding blood vessels and nerves. After 5 seconds, begin a slow 6-second exhale through your mouth. As you exhale, gradually release the pelvic floor contraction in a controlled way. Do not just drop it suddenly. Think of lowering it slowly. That is 1 repetition. You will complete 5 repetitions total. The entire sequence takes about 30 seconds. Now, let's talk about timing. The best time to do this is first thing in the morning. Why? Because testosterone levels are naturally highest in the early hours. By pairing this activation with your natural hormonal rhythm, you amplify the effect. Another effective time is right before bed, especially if you want to improve overnight circulation and morning responsiveness. Some men choose to use it 10 to 15 minutes before intimacy. That's perfectly fine, and many report feeling increased sensitivity and quicker responsiveness when they do. Now, let's address normal sensations. You may feel warmth in your lower abdomen. You might feel subtle tingling. You may notice increased awareness or slight fullness. Those are healthy signs of increased blood movement. What you should not feel is pain, dizziness, or strain. If you feel lightheaded, you are either holding your breath too long or breathing too forcefully. This is controlled, calm, measured. Another important note, do not overdo it. More is not better here. 5 repetitions is sufficient. Doing 20 aggressively will create muscle fatigue and tension, which can actually reduce performance temporarily. We are building coordination and strength, not brute force. And here's something most men never realize. In the very first session, many report feeling an immediate shift, not dramatic, but noticeable, a sense of wakefulness in the pelvic area. That's nerve activation. Over time, this daily 30-second practice improves muscle tone, increases nitric oxide efficiency, and enhances vascular responsiveness. It's like flipping the circuit breaker back on. The reason it works our first try is because you're not waiting for chemistry to change. You are mechanically and neurologically activating a system that already exists inside you. You're not adding anything foreign. You're reawakening what's already there. And when you repeat it daily, that activation turns into strengthening. Now, here's what's actually happening inside your body. Now, let's talk about what's really happening inside your body once you start doing this consistently, because understanding the timeline is what keeps you motivated. A lot of men quit too early because they expect fireworks on day one, and while some feel an immediate shift in awareness or firmness, the real transformation is physiological. It builds layer by layer. Let's walk through it. In the first 24 to 48 hours, the biggest change isn't strength, it's neurological. When you intentionally contract your pelvic floor while controlling your breathing, you're reestablishing a stronger brain-to-muscle connection. That connection may have weakened over years of shallow breathing, sitting for long periods, or simply not using those muscles with intention. Think of it like turning the lights back on in a room that hasn't been used much. The wiring was always there, it just needed stimulation. During those first 2 days, nitric oxide release increases slightly because deep diaphragmatic breathing improves endothelial function. That's the lining of your blood vessels. When the endothelium works better, vessels relax more easily. When vessels relax more easily, blood flow improves. You might notice subtle things: stronger morning responsiveness, slightly fuller sensation, even improved bladder control. That's not random. The pelvic floor supports urinary function as well. Now, let's move to days 3 through 5. This is where coordination begins improving. Muscles are not just about strength, they're about timing. When the pelvic floor contracts at the right moment, it helps trap blood more effectively. When it relaxes properly, circulation resets. Most men over 55 have one of two issues. Either the muscle is weak or it's tight and uncoordinated. Both reduce performance. By day 5, the muscle fibers begin adapting. They start firing more efficiently. The nervous system sends cleaner, stronger signals. Blood inflow becomes more predictable. And predictability changes everything. Because here's something we don't talk about enough. Anxiety about performance creates a cycle. The more you worry, the more stress hormones rise. The more stress hormones rise, the tighter your blood vessels become. The tighter your vessels become, the less responsive your body is. Then confidence drops. But when you feel even a small improvement, just a bit more reliability, that anxiety begins to fade. And when anxiety fades, circulation improves even more. That's the positive feedback loop we're building. Now let's look at week 1 to 2. This is where muscular adaptation becomes measurable. Just like lifting light weights consistently strengthens your arms, contracting the pelvic floor daily strengthens those deep internal muscles. You're increasing tone, you're improving endurance, you're enhancing blood retention capability. You may notice stronger firmness, longer maintenance, better control. Some men report improved sensation because nerve sensitivity sharpens when circulation improves. This is also when confidence begins returning. Not arrogance, not fantasy-level expectations, just steady confidence. And steady confidence at 60 or 70 is incredibly powerful. Now let's talk about weeks 3 to 4. This is where structural changes become more stable. Muscle fibers thicken slightly. Neuromuscular pathways become automatic. Your breathing pattern becomes more efficient without conscious effort. The vascular system responds more quickly because it has been repeatedly trained. This is no longer just activation, it's conditioning. And here's the key word: consistency. Most men fail not because the technique doesn't work. They fail because they stop at day 4, or they skip days, or they squeeze too aggressively and fatigue the muscle. This is a precision habit, not a brute force exercise. You are retraining a system. Now, I want to give you a clear, simple 14-day challenge. For the next 2 weeks, you will do 5 repetitions of the rapid pelvic activation breath every single morning before you check your phone, before coffee, before distractions. Stand or sit upright, 4-second inhale into the belly, 5-second hold with firm pelvic contraction, 6-second controlled release. 5 times, 30 seconds total. That's it. In week 1, focus on technique. Make sure your stomach expands, not your chest. Make sure you're isolating the pelvic floor and not clenching your thighs or glutes. Precision matters more than intensity. In week 2, focus on control. You should feel stronger coordination. The contraction should feel smoother. The release should feel deliberate. Pay attention to signs of improvement. Morning responsiveness, stronger stability, improved endurance, better bladder control, increased confidence. Do not obsess over dramatic change. Look for steady improvement. If you want to extend this to 21 days, even better. By 3 weeks, you are no longer practicing. You are reinforcing a habit that supports long-term vitality. And let me set expectations clearly. This is not a magic switch. This will not turn you 25 overnight. What it will do is reactivate circulation, strengthen muscular support, and rebuild neurological confidence. And at 55, 65, or even 75, that matters. Your body is not done. It is adaptable. It responds to stimulus at any age. The difference between decline and stability is activation. So here's what I want you to do right now. Commit. Type in the comments, "I'm trying this." There is power in public commitment. When you write it, you're telling yourself you're serious. Like this video if you value strategies that are simple and grounded in physiology. Subscribe if you're ready to approach your health with calm authority instead of panic. Let me leave you with something important. Your performance isn't gone. It just needs activation. You are not broken. You are understimulated. 30 seconds a day. Consistency over intensity. Start tomorrow morning and give your body the signal it's been waiting for.